All right, hello everybody. We have the podium vehicle here. I believe this is the Click. We're going to do the McTony robbery, which is the submarine robbery, the newer one, for the salvage yard. The reason that I'm starting out here in the casino is because I want to see if I can actually win this thing. I'm running out of spaces in the salvage yard. You've only got 4 spaces to save the vehicles in. I'm understanding from listening to some other channels and sources that you're going to have maybe the ability to buy these vehicles. You're either going to be able to salvage them, sell them, or buy them. And I've heard things said, I don't know where the original source is, but maybe for $10,000, $20,000, you'll be able to buy the vehicles that you steal. Kind of hoping that happens soon because I'm filling up those 4 slots, and there's a few of the cars that I would like to buy if I have the option. I guess otherwise I'm going to go ahead and sell or salvage. All right, so we didn't win the vehicle, so we're not going to be able to go ahead and count on that. You can see I've already got the Click. I've got the Imaggio. What's the other one here? The Trax. See if I can inspect them here, get the specs up. So it's some nice traction, some decent acceleration. Yeah, we've got the Imaggio, the Trax, and then the Click as a third vehicle. So I have a fourth slot for this next car, and I believe the next car is like a Fathom, and I think that's the most expensive one of this current week. So yeah, the Vapid Click, not bad top speed, not the greatest, but I kind of like that livery, the holiday livery on that one. I wouldn't mind having that just to drive around. I've got a lot of spare garage space right now. I've got the 50 car Eclipse garage, which I haven't filled. I've got some miscellaneous small garages. And then I even upgraded my Maze Bank West CEO office with some garage space. So let's see what the vehicles are we've got here this week. Fathom FR36, Ocelot, Jugular, Dinka Segoya. I don't believe I have a Dinka Segoya. That's one that I wouldn't mind having as well. I believe some people race those. I'm not sure. I got to get more into the LS car meet myself. I've not done a lot of racing, but I would like to do that. So we're going to have some tasks here. Usually the first thing is a scope out. We have to scope out the actual submarine that we're going to be stealing the car from. We're going to steal the Fathom FR36. So I love having the Oppressor Mark II here. I use that for just about everything I can, just because it's easy to get in, get out. All right, so you show up over here by the dock, and you need to photograph the points of interest. Now, I tried to go across the channel and take pictures from there, and after a long time messing around, realized that I was just too far away. I tried taking a picture here, couldn't really send it. Delete or save to gallery was the only option, so I had to get closer. Didn't really want to have to do that, but I had to. So I got on the oppressor and went across the channel. So you'll notice that too. Be a little bit easier to do this in the daylight because in night I really wasn't able to see very much. You come up on the sub here. So I made a few passes trying to figure out like where am I going to stop at. I mean, I usually come into these things with the oppressor and just unload all the missiles from a distance. But I guess I was concerned about blowing up some of the things I needed to photograph, and then I just gave up. Big mistake I made here was trying to land the oppressor on the sub, thinking that was a great idea. Doing that made my oppressor go into the water. I lost it. Actually had to call Moore's Mutual here at one point and get that back. In my case, it's going back to my facility, my Route 68 facility, instead of the terabyte. And then I had to call the mechanic and have it delivered back. So at one point, I did get my oppressor back, but it was $5,000 a call to the mechanic, a little bit of a pain. So I'd avoid trying to land on the sub and probably come across here. As you can see, one of my first photography targets, well, there's two of them actually to the left and right. There's a little, I don't know why I took that picture. I thought I could photograph from there, but no. All right, so eventually I get up here. There's a terminal that I needed to get a picture of. And we've got the option. It wasn't showing up on my screen for some reason. I was having a weird graphics thing, but I sent it off to Jamal. And then I photographed the sonar jammer. And then the next thing I did was photograph the this table. What was that? The schematics for the submarine. Which honestly, if you have a Kosatka, it is a Kosatka. It's the same layout as the sub you've already owned. Unfortunately, I'm still not that familiar with getting around on that sub, as you might find out later here. All right, so we did the scope out. The scope out's complete. With all these robberies, you've got several things. You go to the planning section, and we're going to do the next portion of it here, where we need to get Tony's submarine. He's got it's an Avisa, I believe it's called Avisa. Next step is to steal that sub. So I hang out here, get the directions from Jamal. We need to go to Elysian Island, which I always have a rough time there. I think that's like a Merryweather hangout, and there's always a tough security team there. But I just stayed back and unloaded with my homing missiles until I felt like I took them down enough. I will say, though, there was somebody up at the top of that tower with a pretty powerful weapon because even when I had my ammo, I mean, not my ammo, but I had, oh, I got wasted right there. But I had my body armor on. I had pretty good health. But if I stuck out too far, somebody was shooting me from up at that tower. And so eventually I just had to take some RPGs, take out whoever was up there because they were really giving me a lot of trouble. The next thing I did was just go up the ladder and the stairs. There's a switch up here to release that sub and drop it into the water. So if you're familiar with the hangar cargo missions and having to go on that barge and releasing the art or whatever the thing is you're trying to steal, it's kind of similar, except you got to go up to the top of this tower and release this switch, which releases the submersible in this case. So it'll drop in the water. You got to get back down. I saw someone else try to take their oppressor up on the top here and they got it stuck and then fell. So I just decided not to do it. I thought I climbed the ladder and did it that way. So yeah, back down the ladder we go. And the next thing is to get into the water and get the submarine. Now, here we're not taking it back to the salvage yard. Jamal has it set up that somebody from the salvage yard is going to meet us not too far away from here. And we're actually going to drop off the sub here, and then that's the end of this mission once we do it. So yeah, all you have to do is pull it up here to the yellow cone, and that mission is complete. All right, Tony's submersible is acquired, so we're making progress. All right, so come back in here. I typically register as a motorcycle club president here. I've been having a lot of issues getting not my vehicle, my special cargo warehouses rated lately since this update. All right, so we're gonna move on here. So yeah, I don't know if anybody else has the special cargo warehouses, but I ended up selling a lot of my stuff off. But here we're going to need to go get the sonar equipment, and once again, I want to use my oppressor whenever I can. So kind of wait for Jamal's instructions and then wait for the GPS signal. And we head in here, and once again, I just like to stand off with my homing missiles, take out what I can. I found these guys to be kind of tough, actually. I was able to get in there easy enough, and there's a boat in here that you can hide behind, get some cover. So I didn't have a lot of trouble trying to take these guys out. You've got I think, a crowbar that you're going to try to open up cases and find the sonar equipment. But what happened to me was I took out a bunch of these guys. It looked like I had taken about all of them out, and then I went to open my first crate, and as soon as I did that, some guys spawned through the warehouse door here, which you can see happening right there. So yeah, that took me by surprise, honestly, and my health wasn't really up where it should be. I was going to wait to try to boost my health, and that was a mistake. So I'm just randomly shooting the door there. So I was a little bit nervous about these guys coming back again. I actually still had somebody here that I had to take out. Once I did that, it was a matter of going around. I didn't have a lot of luck. Some people get lucky, and in the first case they find the sonar equipment. In my case, like here's my second one, nothing. It was like the very last case before I found it, and I was pretty paranoid most of the time I was in here. I thought maybe some more guys were going to spawn, which didn't. It's like, nope, that's not it. Had to find my way around over the top of this car. I don't know what that is glowing over there. I feel like I should have grabbed that. What is that? It's like, it's not, doesn't look like a stack of money. It almost looks like a bar of gold or something. I feel like I should have went back and taken that, but I was so focused on the sonar equipment, I didn't bother. All right, here's the last one. Got the sonar equipment. Now, after grabbing the sonar equipment, this is where the security team guys were really tough. I mean, they came in with helicopters and everything else. They were pretty much pushovers at the beginning, but then they got really aggressive right here. I had some trouble. I didn't even make it back to my oppressor. If I had to do this over again, I would have parked that oppressor right outside the door. Couldn't get my RPGs to work. Tried to switch to homing missiles on these choppers. Really couldn't get them to lock in. And I ended up dying a couple times there before I could get to my oppressor and get out of there. And once I did, I was fine. That's why I think if you're going to do this robbery and you get to this point, try to get your oppressor as close to that door as you can so that when you come out, you can just get away from those helicopters and not deal with them. Oh, we did make it back. All right, the sonar equipment is now acquired. I think we're down to one more. I think it's one more thing we've got. No, actually, we're down to the robbery tasks, where a lot of these robberies have three. This one only has two, which is kind of fortunate. So here we're gonna do the first one. You got to fly to this location, wait for a call from Jamal, and then he's going to instruct us where to go find a cutting torch. When you're in the submarine doing the robbery, there's some doors that are sealed shut, and you're going to need the cutting torch. Um, so when I got to this area, it took me a while. It took me a minute or two to find the torch. I ran around the place, didn't see it, and eventually there'll be a green arrow that'll show up, and that'll let you know that hey, it's right here. So there it is. It wasn't really clear. It was on top of these blocks for me. I'm sure it's in a different location for everybody. Some of the workers at the construction site wanted to come after me. Don't believe anybody had any weapons, so nothing too big to worry about there. Not like the sonar equipment. So we got a robbery task complete. We got one more after this. And you really don't need to go to the screen at all for that. The robbery tasks, you really just go to the map, search out the robbery task heading, which I'm doing right here. We got one more robbery task to do, and this one's a bit of a flight. I will cut out the travel here. Just trying to give you guys the important stuff and cut out all the junk. As a matter of fact, when I got to the portion of the robbery, I think that was like a 51-minute video that I had to edit down. You won't get the whole 51 minutes. It was quite a battle for me getting through that sub. But I'm not going to jump too far ahead. Okay, this was pretty easy. We wanted to grab the security outfits. The idea is you're going to take that submarine, the little tiny sub, wear a security outfit to try to mix in with these guys, get into the sub, and try to make some progress. All right, so we have the security outfits, we have the cutting torch. At this point, we really have everything we need, so we're ready to move on to the robbery. And to start that up, you just got to come back here, make sure you're a boss. If I'm not doing anything specific CEO related, I make sure I retire or disband my motorcycle club to try to avoid getting hit. As you're going to find out at the end of this thing, I ended up getting one of my MC businesses hit. It just feels like it's happening so much more often, even when I buy the security upgrade. So the FR36 is going to be ours, guaranteed. It's all right. I hope this is going to be helpful to people. So right now we're already dressed up in the security outfit to blend in with the McTony guards. Now we're going to go down and get the Avisa sub and then head out to that Kosatka. All right, so all you got to do here is just land somewhere at the end of the pier. I probably didn't have to worry about parking so close because you're not really coming back to this. I don't need to worry about the oppressor anymore. So this took a little bit of time to get all the way out there. I scooted along the surface until I got close, then went underwater with the sub, and then tried to figure out how I was supposed to use the moon pool to get in. I do not have this sub in my own Kasatka, so I've never done this before. I tried landing on the top of the sub. That didn't work, so I'm like, well, what do I do? Go underneath? So I went underneath the sub and just kind of tapped it underneath, and then I got the option here to enter the moon pool. So yeah, hopefully that works for you if you're as unfamiliar as I am. So from here, it was a long slog. Fortunately, you are able to re-equip your ammo as you go. I went to my agency and made sure to load up on snacks, load up on any explosive ammo, things like that. But the good thing is you are able to replenish ammo while you're in the sub because I went through a lot of it, to be honest. In my case, I opted for the assault shotgun for most of this. It seems like that weapon does the most damage. I did use my battle rifle a little bit, and I think my combat MG Mark II, and those work pretty well, but it seems like the damage is a little bit slower to take effect. All right, so we got the cutting torch, got through here. Your first task is going to be to disable the navigation systems of the sub. And that's critical for later on when we take control of it. I tried to shoot that one with a couple rounds from my battle rifle. It didn't do anything. And I was a little bit puzzled. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is what I'm supposed to take out. And then there we go. You just got to give it enough rounds. So throughout this whole thing, I'm like using up body armor, using up snacks. I think I ended up using almost all my body armor here. So I found the car before I found the head of security. Really nice looking car. I like that livery. But I had a lot of battles in here, quite a few gunfights. There's quite a few people on the ship. And then this guy is like a juggernaut almost. I mean, I used the assault shotgun and it was pretty easy, but we took out their head of security. And I just like the assault shotgun for this kind of stuff. And then we got the codes, and then thing here was trying to figure out where the terminal was, and then it did show up on the mini map. We get the yellow circle here, so had to go find that. All right, so we want to take control of the submarine, and in order to do that, you got to use the control codes. Now, what they'll tell you is that the submarine, the navigation's disabled, the steering's disabled. The only thing the sub's capable of doing is going straight forward, which is exactly what we want to do. We just want to hit the beach and get out of there. So you got a kind of a cool little cutscene here. I've been looking forward to this. I don't want to do this with my own $9 million Kosatka, though. I really don't. All right. So I thought from here I would just be able to get in the car and go, but still another step. Yeah, I gotta wait for Jamal. He's got some encouragement and some few words here. Gotta get to the landing pad. And I thought it was a matter of getting in the car. I tried to get in there. Nope. You have to activate the landing pad. So I think I missed that on my mini map at first, but eventually I realized, oh, there's a green circle. You got to run over here, find the controls for it. And there we go. You gotta hold that in. Well, now actually you don't have to hold it, but once you activate it, you gotta wait a little bit. And now you enter the FR36. So this was pretty wild getting off the sub. I wasn't sure how this was gonna go. I've never driven a car off the top of the sub. And I managed to make it without flipping it over on the top. Yeah, this was pretty tough. I mean, you're starting out with a 4-star wanted level, which for me usually means I'm going to die. I cannot believe I did this robbery without dying once. I actually ended up getting the $10,000 bonus for not dying. Tried to get away. There's a whole bunch of roadblocks. I mean, helicopters, everything. Pretty big roadblock. I thought there was a road here. I wasn't paying attention to the mini map. Almost ran into that building, had to back away. And I did not want to try to go through that roadblock. I was afraid they might puncture my tires, which happens a lot at these roadblocks. So what I did is I opted for the old standby of trying to find the nearest railroad, because where there's a railroad, there's usually a tunnel. It's worked for me in some of the other robberies. So yeah, I found this railroad. Oh man, I really messed that up, but got out of it. I thought, what's the odds? I couldn't believe this thing could actually stay up there on the snow. I had dune buggies that I couldn't even finish bunker missions with in this crazy snow, and this thing managed to get up that hill. So I was actually impressed with the traction. So here it was just a matter of getting in this tunnel, watching my mini map. I was still concerned they might follow me into it, but they never did. And as always, I'm worried about the trains coming through, which one did, but I was off to the side far enough where it wasn't a problem. It did take me a bit to get out of here. For some reason, I was kind of stuck up against that wall. Had to back up, go forward, back up, go forward. Finally got it out of there. Was acting stuck. So I kept the snacks up, which I did need to do. We had already made it through the wanted level. This was a little bit hairy because I had nowhere to go if there was another train. One thing about Los Santos and Blaine County is there's lots of trains. So I got out of there and got the car back towards the salvage yard. There's really no more people to chase you after that. Once you get that wanted level out of there, you're good. So we've completed another robbery. I'm going to have some big decisions to make because all four of my slots are full. So you can see here that we did not find the head of security in a minute, which I don't care. No lives lost, which was great. I didn't die. All challenges complete now. Of course not. That wasn't important to me. I wanted to get through, and did get through. We made it. All right. So there's the McTony robbery. Good luck.